The Influencer's Edge is brought to you by the Subconscious Selling Domination System. If you're an already successful sales leader, salesperson, or sales team leader, and you're already at the top 10 to 20% of your market, but somehow you've hit a plateau, the old techniques are just barely moving the needle, and you're ready to bust through, dominate your market, and even crush your competition, go to sellwithsuggestion.com. Grab your instant trust quick start training and your subconscious sales conversion vault, which are all part of the subconscious selling domination system. Just go to sellwithsuggestion.com. That's sellwithsuggestion.com. Welcome once again to the Influencer's Edge, and say it with me, ladies and germs. You know, ladies and germs. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a show that disconnects the dots, colors outside the lines, and thinks outside the box. Now, today's guest is no piker. This is a guy who scaled his company to $50 million. That's some serious Skrilla. That ain't vanilla. That is Skrilla. You could buy the whole city of Manila and be a killer. And you should all be thrilled that we have Alexander Johnson on the show. And full disclosure, Alex was kind enough to let me be a guest on his show, where I shone like a star in the sky. Did I not?
Yes, sir. That's who knows how fast you get this out, but you might beat me to publication. Who knows?
I don't know. All right. And by the way, you have we swear in this show. It's not a family show. You have a fucking cool mustache, dude.
Thank you.
It is something else. So I told Alex before the show. Can I call you Alex?
Yes, sir. Please do.
I told Alex before the show the bio is a pacifier. And his is very short. So you're a founder of Mixt Solutions. Mm-hmm. And you have scaled to $50 million in revenue and a 50-person team. So let's back up. Did you have the entrepreneurial spirit growing up as a kid? Did you have a lemonade stand? Did you sell weed? Where did this entrepreneurial spirit come from?
Sort of. So I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, of course, on my podcast, and you do see some of those reoccurring themes. Like just as a kid, I had a paper route. That was a big one. A lot of paper routes. I sold, this, that, and the third. I don't want to say that I didn't have that entrepreneurial spirit. I had the independent spirit, but it wasn't always necessarily channeled towards business from age 5, 10, 15, 20 even. I kind of caught the bug maybe a little later, if you want to call it 20 years old later.
Let me push the pause. I like this. You tickled my curiosity here. What do you mean by independent?
Yeah, that's a good question.
You skip school, or what did that mean?
No, I just felt like I never appreciated rules that didn't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. So if you said, "Hey, this podcast, whatever, you have to wear a blue T-shirt," which I actually am wearing, I'd be like, "Well, why?" And you go, "Oh, that's just what we do." And it's like, okay, like you gotta help me understand this a little bit better, because I'm not quite following. So I never appreciated rules that I didn't think made sense. And I had a very independent streak. I liked to do things my way. So if we were doing a school project and, 6 of the kids are doing Martin Luther King Jr., I'm like, I'm not doing MLK. I gotta find some person from history that's unique that nobody else is doing. So I like to do things my own way and independently, individually. And I always knew that whatever I did, it wasn't going to be the same thing as everyone else. And it wasn't certainly going to be with some boss that told me what to do every single day. So I didn't know what that was. And I found entrepreneurship and I went, wait, this combines a lot of the things that I like and a lot of my skills. You get to decide your own destiny. I like that. Your hard work can pay off. You get to be your own boss. Now I got 50 bosses, right? So I don't know what happened to me. But it was the things that I was kind of looking for, and I didn't know it was entrepreneurship that I was looking for, but it kind of, hit me in the face when I got into an entrepreneurship 101 class in college. And I went, oh, like, obviously this is what I'm going to do now.
And what was your first foray into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, great question. And I think this is a really important lesson for anybody out there who either wants to be an entrepreneur or is maybe a first-time entrepreneur. But I credit almost all of my success in business with starting my first business, which was a live entertainment company. So
Whoa.
yeah,
You
so
mean like
we
a strip club? You can say it.
no
This
no
is
no no no.
we have a
So
mostly male audience. It's okay.
well, so we actually were in a conservative little town. So I went to a school called Ashland University. It's in the city of Ashland, and it wasn't a Christian school, but it was a heavily influenced by religion school. So technically, it was a dry campus. So you weren't allowed to have any alcohol on campus.
Oh
And
wow.
there was like two or three little bars in town. It was this kind of weird juxtaposition where there were like a bunch of college kids like yearning for something fun to do, and there really wasn't quite anything that like fun or exciting in the town, and certainly the school was not like into throwing like a party or something. So we were really big into music. So we started just saying like, well, why don't we just host an event? Like, why don't we go book a live entertainer, like a DJ, not a stripper, DJ, musician, something like that, and we'll host like, basically like a club night. So we reached out to a couple of bars, and fortunately, one of these it wasn't even a bar; it was like a pizza place slash bar, but it was a huge venue. He went, yeah, I'm trying to like get kids to come out here because it was kind of off the beaten path from the school. So he was like, yeah, I would definitely be willing for you guys to like bring an entertainer in, and I'll, make the drink coverage, and then you guys will make the door, which looking back, we should have asked for a portion of the drinks, but we didn't know what we didn't know at the time. Um,
Yeah.
so we cobbled together like 1,000, 1,200 bucks from the money that we made over the summer. And we threw all that into the artist, and we built a stage, literally built a stage by hand. My farmer friend, had us out. And when I say built, it was like he built everything and we kind of watched.
That's
And
business.
yep, built the stage, which was like a literal like brick. It was so heavy, so big, so bulky, but it worked. And I know that it worked because at one point we had like 20 girls dancing on top of it, clothed, clothed. So it was cool, man. We ran that first event, and we actually like made money. Like we were, 20-year-old kids with like $5,000 in cash, like in a box, and it's like, holy cow,
Whoa.
this is back
I
when people still
understand.
did cash. You've done these events, so the
I
excitement of like,
know.
holy crap, we got all this
I know what
money.
it is to strip naked and roll around with $10,000 in
That's
cash.
right. You told me that
Literally.
story. Yes. Well, I never did the naked cash. I probably thought about it, but so it was just like exhilarating. And that was my first business. And I did that for 3 years while I was at that sleepy little college town, and had some fantastic events, had some events that didn't work out like we wanted them to. But, that's the event business. It's almost like a gambler's business. You know that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So let's take a huge leap into scaling. First of all, what does Mixit do? What is Mixit?
Yeah. So Mixt Solutions, you talk about scaling. Like, I think that kind of comes with like, well, what did this business begin as? It began as something very different, where we spun up a website and we were selling on our website, which at that time was called mixednutrition.com, which was like for basically like sports nutrition supplements. If you remember the old bodybuilding.com, it would have been similar like a
Yeah.
bodybuilding.com. But
Yeah.
then I had an account rep say, well, I got these guys, they're doing $500,000 a month on Amazon. And I was like, 500,000 a year? He's like, no, 500,000 a month. And that was like mind blowing for us because we were
Yeah.
like going to do like $100,000, and we thought that was like pretty dang good. So we started selling on Amazon, saw people having the same issues over and over again, and then kind of
What kind
pivoted
of
and said,
issues? What, Alex, if I
yeah.
could, what are the top issues people had or
So
still have?
this was a crazy time, Paul. Like when we talked about on our podcast, you said, it's just a different time where there just like wasn't people doing what I was doing, and the big thing was like do a live event, people come there, publish books.
Yeah.
Very similar on Amazon. The time period was all these companies wanted to drive people to stores, right? So sports nutrition, the big thing was let's get into GNC, and then GNC is sort of our cash cow, right? So drive everyone to GNC. So what they would actually do is on their website, and this is so crazy, but it's totally true. Like a protein powder should have been like, I don't know, $29.99 in GNC. They would put it $79.99 on their website to deter people from buying on their website, and
I get it.
instead drive people to GNC. So like think about how backwards that is now. It's like, no, I
Totally
want to own
backwards.
the customer. I want him to come to my website.
Of
But
course.
what was happening was, all these resellers were hopping on Amazon, buying the products out of distribution, driving the price lower and lower and lower and lower. It's like a race to the bottom, essentially.
Right.
So these companies, they'd be trying to sell, to the distributor for like $25, and then it'd be on Amazon for like 27. So the distributors didn't want to buy. The stores definitely didn't want to buy because they're like, well, there's absolutely no money to be made here.
No.
And it was just really an understood channel for these brands. So that was the big issue, is just they didn't understand it. You talk about like changes. It's like a newspaper company trying to grapple with AI. It's like, we have no idea where to even start with this thing.
Got it.
So that was a big issue. So we approached brands and said, hey, look, you guys clearly have some challenges here. Can we get in here and help you? And we were like 22, 23 at the time. So, the most common response was, don't worry about us kids, we got it. But a couple of brands were smart enough to know that this is changing the landscape. We don't understand it. Like, let's work with a company that does understand this thing. So pretty early on, we landed some brand partners where we would have a partnership where we would help them on that platform. And that's kind of really what we still do to this day, is help those brands on the Amazon platform full service.
I had the thought yesterday because I'm an Amazon junkie. I don't go to brick and except when it comes to shoes. When it comes to shoes, my sports shoes, I go to one place. You probably don't have it where you live. It's called Roadrunner Sports.
We
Roadrunner.
might have some. We might have some.
Uh, but I'm an Amazon junkie. I must have spent easily $75,000, $80,000 on Amazon. I could look through all my orders and calculate it. I don't want to do it. So, what are some of the top tips for people who want to scale their businesses? You know how to do this. I, the problem is when someone's got a really specialized talent, it's hard to scale it because you have to train coaches, et cetera, et
Mm-hmm.
cetera. So, but in terms of Amazon, how can people utilize Amazon to scale their businesses, or is that not the primary tool?
Well, I think it is a tool. So I think first, what I would say, and sometimes people come to us and they're like, they have like basically no channels, and they're like, we want to grow Amazon, right? So like if you created a product tomorrow, and you go, well, I want to become the number one bestseller on Amazon for whatever that product is. I got hot sauce sitting here in front of me. You want to create a hot sauce and you want it to be the number one bestseller on Amazon. That's not really possible until you've built out the other channels, right? So like, well, why is Tabasco the number one bestseller on Amazon? Well, because it's in every grocery store that you've ever been into. It's in
Right.
Whole Foods, it's in
Yep.
Kroger, it's in Walmart. It's like, it's challenging. So what I tell people is like, let me donate you back your time so that you can go out and scale the other meaningful parts of your business. If you get into Costco nationwide, that first purchase order is a $50 million purchase order. So it's like, okay, so even if you have a great Amazon business, you do $15,000 or $15 million a year, which is a great Amazon business. That's 3 years of uphill battle on that just to get to one Costco purchase order. So I'm not saying don't focus on Amazon, but you need to have like a thought out business plan, a thought out structure of distribution. Really gone are the days, like, I don't know if you remember these days where Amazon FBA was really buzzy. It's probably 10 years ago now, where it's like, start drop shipping on Amazon FBA and
Yeah.
make money in your
Yeah. I
spare
never
time.
bought into it. I never
Yeah.
bought into it.
Well, it's like every business. There's a couple people who do it and make a lot of money, and then almost everyone else makes no money. Just like speaking or coaching, right? Totally. So those days are kind of gone, and there's really not many product categories left where it's like, oh, there's just no one selling, whatever locks that have a code combination. So I'm just going to get one of these manufactured in Alibaba. I don't need to have a brand. I don't need to have a real business. I can just have a product. Like, that's a challenge at this point in time, which is a good thing, I think. Like, you want companies that are real companies to sell you products on Amazon. You don't want just spun up products that are one-offs from Alibaba, like dominating the space. So I would say that. So building a real business with Amazon as a portion and a cornerstone of it.
I think that is very realistic. And I like the fact that you're pointing out that markets have changed, things are saturated. What used to work just doesn't work anymore. And you have to have a common. I'm asking you this because you're the guest. When you're helping someone do the scaling, they have to have a vision of where they want to go. You don't help them build the vision, you help them build the strategy, correct?
Yeah. Correct. Yes. So probably just like you know, like I think it was Tony Robbins, who I know you're a fan of. It's like, I am not your guru, right? Like, I am not your brand. So like, you have to have a brand. You have to have something for us to work with. You know, if you don't have that and you're doing this in your spare time, like you're going to do 4 hours a week on this in nights and weekends.
You're not
Well,
an entrepreneur. You don't, people don't understand. They
yeah,
see someone who's a success like you and think, I'm so envious. Look at him, blah. They don't see all the work you put in. They don't see it.
yeah.
Most people wouldn't become entrepreneurs if they knew the amount of work, and also you don't always get a steady paycheck.
And I'm not discouraging someone who's out there doing nights and weekends to like build a side
Yeah,
hustle.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
but
I
I
had to
but
do
I've
it.
kind of I've heard it said like this, and I really like that. It's a bit arrogant to think that you can work 4 to 6 hours a week on a project and beat someone who's working 50 to 60 hours a week on that same project, right? So
I
like,
love,
if you're launching a hot sauce in your spare time, but like this person's literally full-time job grinding away at their hot sauce brand, like it's a little arrogant to think like you're 10 times smarter than them, so you can do 1/10 the amount of work and still beat them, right?
I like what Alex Hormoz always says: outwork your doubt.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And that would be one of the things that I would say is, if you really want to commit to something, unfortunately, it does take that commitment, and sometimes there is a leap, right? And I think, to go back to what helped me so much as a young person, was I started that first business. I was like a little bit just too naive. And this is a superpower when you're starting a business. You know,
Yes, it is.
you're naive and you think it won't be that hard. So you just do it. But if you knew the reality of how
You
challenging
wouldn't
it's
do
going to
it.
be, you wouldn't do it. Right.
You
But
wouldn't do it.
because I started that first company at age, 19 or 20, I just went, okay, well, like, that didn't blow up in my face. I didn't go bankrupt. It was hard, but it wasn't that hard. So you just go, all right, I could do this. So I started Mixt Solutions, you know, 5 months after I graduated from college. So I have a degree in entrepreneurship. My friends had a degree in accounting and education and
Mine, mine was in
architecture.
it. Mine is in international relations. I can tell you all about warfare and the tactics being used in the current war and the
That that
weaponry.
would that, that would
But
be
it didn't
fun
make
for
me
a
any
different
money.
day. Yeah.
It didn't
Yeah.
make me any money.
But I had that degree, so I was like, well, this is just like what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out and start a business. So I started our company 5 months after I graduated from college. And, I was naive. I didn't think it would be a 12 going on 13-year foray into this. But, that's what it's taken to get here.
Pretty extraordinary. So I'm looking, when I do these exchanges, these conversations, I don't consider them interviews. When you hit the when you hit the $10 million mark, what did that do to your psyche? What did you have a sense that, wait, this isn't real, or you hit $10 million? What was the number, the figure that made you go, holy shit, this is crazy?
Yeah, well, I got my champagne bottle that I don't know if you can see. That's the $1
Yeah.
million. That's the 1 million. And I don't have a $10 million champagne bottle. There's the 20 million.
Whoa,
Um,
hold that up to the camera. You can't just
Yeah.
snatch it away
So
like that. Let's
there's
see.
the $20 million
Barefoot.
year 2021. Yeah, it's
How
not
much
a
are
great.
those bottles? How much
Oh,
are those
gee, I don't
bottles?
know, 10, $12. It was,
Oh, okay.
symbolic more than anything. We actually hit 49 and like 5 million last year, so we'll have a bottle this year if we get to the 50. But it was surreal in the moment, but it felt super normal where we were, because we had been doing it for a long time by that point. So like, when I hit 20 million, that was 2021. We started the company in 2014. So it's like, we've been doing this for 6, 7 years, which I totally understand is not a long time in entrepreneurship, but I don't know, 7 years is a pretty long time to do anything. So it felt pretty normal, to get to where we were. But if you I think if you start at the beginning and go, in 2014, if I told you in 2021 you'll be doing 20 million in sales, like, what would you think? And I'd probably go, well, geez, that's like amazing, but when you're there, it's like, I don't know, it's pretty good, but you're still looking forward. You're like, well, I know we can get to
Yep.
35. I know we can get
Yep.
to 50. And now we're at
Yep.
50. We want to get to 100. So
Yep.
it is forward looking, but it's a balance between still continuing to look forward, but also, smell the roses a little bit. Like, this is exciting. We built a 63,000 square foot facility. Like, we got our office gym, we've got our golf simulator. We've got a big space where we can do a lot of cool things. So it's awesome, but you're also still like, I want to get to this next level because I know I'm capable of getting there.
Huh. I often say, and tell me what you think, give me your feedback. You have to have double vision. You have to be able to be farsighted enough to see your vision where you want to go, but you have to be able to look right in front of your nose to see where the mines are, where the pitfalls are, where the traps are. You have to be able to go back and forth. And I think with someone who's an excellent entrepreneur, you have to have both of those sides. And you also have to build a team. So tell me about, it's not something that you necessarily emphasize, but you're so successful. Tell me about the value of the team that you have and how you found your team. Because I found personally, I couldn't do shit without my team. And I love that book From Good to Great, where they talk about
Mm.
get the right people on the bus. So tell me about your team and how you found them.
Yeah, absolutely. But one thing I'll say about what you just commented on, where kind of having that double vision, that's really like everything in success, right? As an entrepreneur, you have to have vision for the future, but you have to be focused on what's happening right now. You have to be able to build a team, but you also have to execute yourself. Like, you have to be player coach. Like, you have to love your people, but you have to also not prioritize any one person above the values of the company and the organization, right? You have to be able to focus, but you also have to be able to see like what's out here in the future, like kind of these more ethereal ideas. So that's really, I think, success in almost everything. It's like having that balance where you never only do one thing really, really well. You have to be able to kind of hit the middle of it. And that's always a challenge. When it comes to building our team, it was a fun experience and still is. And I think what entrepreneurs have to understand, and this is a really common thing that I see people struggle with, is what got you to the place that you currently are is not what will get you into the future.
So true.
So like when you're four or five people, it's like you don't need like communication systems. It's just like, hey Paul, what are you doing with this? Okay, you're working on that. All right, let me know when you're done. And then it's like you just turn and flip back to your desk and keep going. Once you get
So
to
true.
once you get to 50 people, your directors are pissed when they're not on an email. They're like, well, I didn't know about this. No one told me about this.
You got a
So
whole new set of problems.
exactly. And also, confusion over direction of the organization. It's like, well, we didn't have to outline the organization when we were 5 or 10 people. It's like everyone knew everything that was going on at all times. So there wasn't like, oh, we have to announce a strategic vision. Also, people were like, well, I don't know what we're going to be doing next year. Like, we're just trying to be in business next year. We got 10 people on the team. We're vulnerable to anything that happens. So in building a team, I think you have to hold, two opposing things in mind. Like, one, I need to be able to execute on my own, and there's certain things that I need to be the person that does as the business
Right.
owner. But two, I also have to be able to understand when it is time to delegate. When should,
Absolutely.
I bring in someone who's more intelligent than me? And like,
I'm
I don't know how to
laughing.
do, I don't know how to do Excel that well. It's like Brad loves Excel. Let's get Brad in there. And I think what people kind of, struggle with is that like when thing. And the things that rewarded you in the beginning of the business, like
Yes.
I do everything myself, I make all the sales calls, I approve all the final invoices, I make all the final hires. Like those are bottlenecks as you get to like 12, 15,
Absolutely.
20. And we all know somebody that's like nothing happens at this company until the boss says so, right? And it's like everything has to run up to, well, it sounds like a good idea, but I'll have to talk to Dave about that. And it's like, that's not really an organization any longer.
No,
That's a
no.
one-man show who has appendages doing the effort for him or her.
I love your metaphors, Alex.
Yeah.
I,
So,
I I really love this, and I'll tell you why I love it. I have I used to have one operations manager. Now I have two
mm,
because we're just expanded. and they will CC me on their communications, but it's like I'm reading Latin backwards. They understand each other. I don't understand it, and I'll say, guys, you don't need to CC me. I don't understand a word you're saying anyway. Just I trust you completely.
That is a great moment when you go, you don't need to attach me on these emails anymore. It's like, thanks, but no thanks. Like, I trust you. You got it.
And I've also created a power structure, and I want you to tell me how important this is as you expand. I've created a power structure where they're encouraged to tell me where I'm wandering off the path, where I'm full of shit, and where I really need to change course. They're bonus for it. They get like cash bonuses when they do that. I really want those channels open. As you've grown, have you done how have you created a culture where they feel free to give you feedback?
Well, I don't know if I've done as good of a job as you have, because
okay.
that is definitely something that people are hesitant to do. They're hesitant to tell their boss or their manager or their CEO or their owner, like, dude, you're just not really that good at this thing. Like, so I haven't found the key to that. So I would definitely be interested in you telling me, which makes it challenging, because then if the CEO or the owner is doing something that everyone's annoyed with, and then they go, hey, like, am I talking too much in meetings? They go, no, you're really good at that. Yeah, no, you're doing great. But in the back of their mind, they're like, yes, shut the fuck up. Like, so yeah, I'm interested to hear how you have kind of assembled that.
Unfortunately, this is about you, not about me. So have me back in your show. We are actually at time. Now, this has been brilliant. Thank you. You've graced us with real knowledge, not just theory, but this is from someone who's been in the trenches and still is. And ladies and gentlemen, $50 million is not a small sum to sneeze at. That is good. That is goddamn good. Great results, amazing results. I know, Alex, my audience will want to stay in the conversation with you. So what are the best ways to do that?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. I don't post a ton. I probably could and should post more frequently. Check us out at mixtsolutions.com if you need any help on Amazon. Can you spell that? Yep, Mixt Solutions, plural, SOLUTIONS.com. Ping me on LinkedIn if you got something for me.
Who are you on LinkedIn? We'll put it in the show notes.
Yep, Alexander V. Johnson, pretty easy to find. You'll find my podcast, you'll find the stuff about our company. We do this is something new that we're doing. I don't think many companies are doing it. We're doing an Amazon model audit. So a lot of people do like a listing audit. Nowadays, like ChatGPT can do a listing audit for you in like 5 minutes. It's not really impressive any longer. What we do is a model audit. So there's a lot of different ways to do the Amazon platform, kind of like that original one where people were changing their model. A lot of people are changing their model now. It's kind of like the new era of Amazon where things are becoming different. So we can help a brand analyze, like, is the model that you're currently doing the most profitable? And if it is, great, keep doing it. If it's not, we have tactics to kind of help you transition into something different.
Fantastic. You just offered so much value. I deeply appreciate it. Stay with me for a green room chat afterwards. Ladies and gentlemen, another great guest. And as I always like to close the show with something that shocks my guests. To the hostile alien armada hovering in your cloaked spaceships just outside of Earth's atmosphere, remember, eat the Canadians first. They taste better. And we'll catch you next time on The Influencer's Edge.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
The Influencer's Edge is brought to you by the Subconscious Selling Domination System. If you're an already successful sales leader, salesperson, or sales team leader, and you're already at the top 10 to 20% of your market, but somehow you've hit a plateau, the old techniques are just barely moving the needle, and you're ready to bust through, dominate your market, and even crush your competition, go to sellwithsuggestion.com. Grab your instant trust quick start training and your subconscious sales conversion vault, which are all part of the subconscious selling domination system. Just go to sellwithsuggestion.com. That's sellwithsuggestion.com.